The United States has issued an urgent advisory to the American citizens in Lebanon amid Israeli military strikes in the country in fears of Washington's war with Iran. The U.S. Embassy in Beirut, in an advisory, said, on February 23rd, the Department of State ordered the departure of non-emergency U.S. government personnel and family members of government personnel due to the security situation in Beirut. U.S. Embassy Beirut personnel are restricted from personal travel without advance permission. Additional travel restrictions may be imposed on U.S. personnel under Chief of Missions security responsibility, with little to no notice due to increased security issues or threats. Israel carried out airstrikes in eastern Lebanon, killing 3 Hezbollah members. One of the Hezbollah officials said that 3 of the dead were local commanders and identified them as Ali al-Musawi, Mohammed al-Musawi, and Hussein Yaghi. Lebanon's health ministry said Saturday that the Israeli strikes on the eastern Bekaa Valley killed 10 people and wounded 24, including 3 children.
We are alive, praise be to God, O enemy, no matter what victories you achieve and whatever actions you take, the blood of our martyrs will give birth to free people, and we will liberate Jerusalem whether you like it or not.
The death toll from Friday's Israeli strikes on Lebanon comes at a moment of intensified tensions in the region, as the United States has threatened to strike Iran, a backer of both Hezbollah and Hamas, if negotiations over Tehran's nuclear program fail to produce a deal.
The United States has launched one of its biggest deployments in the Middle East in decades, and that's amid these tensions with Iran over its nuclear program. Now, this includes a naval armada of some 16 ships, including 2 aircraft carriers, the Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea and the Gerald R. Ford, which is in the Mediterranean heading east. Now, that combined has a lot of attack aircraft, including F-35s and FA-18s. Meanwhile, there's dozens of American aircraft that are stationed in the desert kingdom of Jordan. That could be a location from which the Americans could launch an attack on Iran. That's in part because Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, where America also operates aircraft from, have said they won't allow their airspace to be used in any potential attack against Iran. All this is coming as U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to militarily strike the Islamic Republic if it doesn't reach a new nuclear deal with America.
Iran has dismissed the United States' deployment of warships and fighter jets in the West Asia region, calling the move theatrical.
A top Iranian military commander has dismissed the United States' deployment of warships and fighter jets in the West Asia region, calling the move theatrical. Assadi said, and I quote, "Our nation knows very well that ships and other armament now deployed in the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman waters have been cruising in different parts of the world for years. The deployment of ships in the region has entered the propaganda phase, and the response to such a theatrical move was well given by Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, who said lately that, of course, an aircraft carrier is a dangerous device, but more dangerous than the carrier is the weapon that can send it to the bottom of the sea. We hope that evil warmongers like America, England, France, Germany, and the Zionist regime will eventually end as cancerous tumors in the West Asia region. The response of the armed forces to any miscalculation and act of foolishness by the enemy will be more devastating than ever. Assadi's warning to the U.S. comes as the USS Winston S. Churchill, a guided missile destroyer of the United States Navy currently assigned to the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier group as an escort, is transiting the Strait of Gibraltar. The aircraft carrier was seen entering the Mediterranean Sea on Friday, where it was ordered by U.S. President Donald Trump as part of a massive military buildup in the Middle East, the AFP reported. The massive military buildup continues as both the United States and Iran are set to hold their next round of nuclear talks on Thursday in Switzerland's Geneva. Oman's Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi confirmed the talks, but there was no immediate response from the Trump administration. Iran has vowed a stern response if its territory is attacked, this after Donald Trump said he was considering limited strikes on Iran.
We will not bow our heads in the face of these problems. We will try to bring honor and pride to our country. As long as we are alive and we can breathe, we will sacrifice our lives for our country. By God's grace and strength, we will not lower our heads in the face of these difficulties. Even though the outside world and global powers are unfairly pressing us to submit, we will not bow our heads, just as you, athletes, refused to bow to difficulties.
The tensions between the longtime adversaries have ramped up as the Trump administration pushes for concessions from Iran and has built up the largest U.S. military presence in the Middle East in decades, with more warships and aircraft on the way. Iran has been carrying out military drills with Russia in the Strait of Hormuz, the waterway crucial to international oil trade.
As the tensions between Iran and the United States peak despite 2 rounds of negotiations, Hormuz waterway has emerged as the focal point of the standoff once again. On Tuesday, the Iranian state TV announced the closure of the Strait of Hormuz amid military drills with Russia. The Iranian media claimed that the closure was implemented for a limited number of hours to manage safety concerns during the drills. The Tasnim news agency, said to be closely linked to the Revolutionary Guard, said the missiles launched from within Iranian territory and from coastal positions hit designated targets in the strait as part of the exercise. Iran has been holding military drills with Russia, even as Americans brought its warships closer to the Middle East. Footage released by Iran showed members of the paramilitary Revolutionary Guard's naval special forces board a vessel in the exercise. Those forces are believed to have been used in the past to seize vessels in key international waterways. Lying between Iran to the north and Oman and the United Arab Emirates to the south, the Strait of Hormuz links the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea. On an average, roughly 20 million barrels of crude oil, condensate, and fuels pass through the strait daily. Major producers, including Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, UAE, and Iran, depend on it to export energy. Nearly half of India's crude oil and around 60% of its natural gas imports pass through the strait. China, Japan, and South Korea are also heavily dependent on supplies shipped through these waters. According to reports, any prolonged closure of the strait would likely push up oil prices sharply, raising fuel, manufacturing, and transport costs worldwide and fueling inflation. In the past, Iran has harassed shipping through the strait. During the 1980s Iran-Iraq War, both sides attacked tankers and other vessels, using naval mines to completely shut down traffic at points.